What's your name, boy?
I didn't throw it.
I beg your pardon. One summer I worked with the circus. All those midgets. Wild. Those run boys are like a bunch of hungry tigers.
I'm very partial to satin. I was married in satin. That is my first marriage.
Do anything like what? Practical joker. I dare see what else. Oh no! Uncle Arthur? Uncle Arthur? You in there?
What's going on?
You know, darling. The serving dish. Bet you're right. Gotcha now, Uncle Arthur.
Forgive me for not rising, but I'm up to my neck in work.
Darling. Say hello, Uncle Arthur.
Uncle Arthur, I have never been so happy to see anybody in my life. Uncle Arthur, oh pal, oh buddy.
Hiya, fella. Glad to see you. Put her there. You marvelous creature, you. Lay back and tell me all about yourself. And take it real slow.
What are you doing?
Nothing, honey.
Come on, we're going home.
Yeah, I'm coming. There's definitely a language barrier here. Disunlike. You got yourself a deal.
My horoscope said I should put my best foot forward.
Foot right. Only the foot. Oh, perfect. You'll hear from us. Next. I know. Stadium. I think it's going in the argument. You care to find your mother?
It's my hair.
Not till you're 21. Ed, I love you. As you can see, we suggest the entire family all go out and select the final resting place together. The kids love it. They have a ball.
You really enjoy your work, don't you?
Sure do. Wouldn't want to do anything else. I like people. Oh, shit. Nurse Tom, call maintenance. I had sperm all over my desk again. You want an Indian something? Oh, perfect. I'll save the next dance for you. Where you gonna live that cake? I hope you're satisfied.
this whole woke thing, politically correct thing. Oh, God. We're in store for some really crazy stuff here tonight, so there's no woke in this show. I just thought I'd warn you before we start.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning.
Trigger warning, get ready. Look at you, she's already freaking out. Oh, shit. No, things have changed since I took my sabbatical 40 years ago. When I left here 40 years ago, Cher had just started her first farewell tour. Liberace was still looking for the right woman. How'd that work out? Bert and Ernie, they were just friends. Okay, this is a rolling audience here this evening, I'm telling you.
That's why you're warming them up.
I'm warming them up. Microsoft meant a really shitty honeymoon.
Got it.
We're getting there. Compressed files back in the day meant you set your fat ass on the suitcase. Alright, here, let's try this one again. Selfies. Remember that? Your mother said selfies would make hair grow in the palm of your hand.
Okay, it's something.
I know, fine, we got a moan out of them. And then this whole reality TV thing. Oh my, back in my day, reality TV was ultra-prototype in the 6 o'clock news. Now it's the Kardashians smearing mayonnaise on their vaginas to make them shiny. God, makes you want to become a vegetarian. I mean, there's so many weird things. Like, for instance, okay, laptops. What is a laptop? Back in my day, laptops you paid extra money for at a titty bar. Not that many of you guys ever did that because oh, did you? You paid extra for a titty bar? I bet. I mean, there's all these. There's all these other weird things like Twitter. What the hell is Twitter? In the 70s, we took Ritalin for that. There's these things called hashtags I found out about. In the 70s, a hashtag meant we took a couple of tequila shots, did a puff off a joint, chased each other around the coffee table to see who got the bomb. There are no more telegrams. It's now Instagrams. I mean, back in the 80s, Instagram was a coke dealer's wet dream. Okay, a few drug addicts down in the front here. They got that one. She's still in shock over here. You're just sitting there going, what the hell is going on? You don't even know who the hell I am, do you? No, you're like, yeah. He's fruity, but he's fun. Oh my, what's the other thing? Gender fluid. That was something you put in a sock and stuck under your bed. Oh, you got that one. Okay, they're drug addicts and sex fiends all in the front here.
Our favorite kind of people.
I know. Grinder. Back in my day, it was something you put your meat in. Okay, it's the same thing. All right. I mean, could you think about it? Could you imagine the shows that are on TV today, back on Friday nights when my shows were on? Imagine that. Brady Brunch at 8 o'clock, Partridge Family at 8:30, and the Masters of Sex at 9. You would have heard Swanson's TV dinners drop all over America. I mean, the raciest thing we had was Leave It to Beaver. And Showtime's turning that into a lesbian sitcom. God knows what they're going to do with Different Strokes. Oh, there's a thick group here tonight. I mean, think about it, folks. You know, it seems like only yesterday I was sitting here in the Hollywood Square. Doesn't it? What the hell? Hello? What's going on?
Hi, Paul.
Oh my God, it's Peter Marshall.
How you doing today, big guy?
Well, Peter, I'm in Mexico doing my show.
I know, but I just thought it might be fun. Well, if we could do some old questions from the original Hollywood Squares.
I don't know, let me ask this great audience that I'm warming up here. They love sex stuff. Hey, y'all want to hear some of the original questions from the original Hollywood Squares? All right, Peter, hit me up.
Are you ready?
Of course I'm ready.
Good. According to the old song, at night, when you're asleep, into your tent I'll creep. Who am I?
Oh, the Scoutmaster. Give me another one.
Okay,
Kardashian's eyebrows. Okay, one more.
All right, now, Paul, you've come home, okay?
Yep.
You've got a brown rug.
Right.
You've got brown walls.
Right.
Brown furniture.
Right.
Brown curtains. What does that indicate?
Oh, the maid exploded. Did you hear that squeaky sound with the speakers in the front row and back there? That was politically incorrect. That was an actual question on the Hollywood Square, on our show in primetime television. And you look like a bunch of sickos that would like to hear more of them. You want to hear some more? Here. We're having fun. Hey, Peter, give me another one.
Here you go. The average child in China learns how to do it at the age of 3. The average child in America never learns. What is it?
Oh, how to pull a rickshaw. One more, Peter.
All right. Paul, where at any one time will you find 1/4 of the Earth's population?
Oh, crossing the Rio Grande. Look at this group down there. Look at this group. Shocked and scared. Unbelievable. Give me another one, Peter.
Did you see Planet of the Apes?
I did.
Well, at the end of the movie Planet of the Apes, what does Charlton Heston see that makes him realize that he is actually in New York City?
Oh, a Puerto Rican. I'm going to leave here tonight, beat with a pinata, goose by a Puerto Rican, and whiplash with a rickshaw. Okay, let's find out where people are from. Where are you guys? This fun group, where are you from? Pasadena, You look like a Rose Bowl float that came to fucking life, right? Were you the Rose Bowl queen at one given point?
I was the rose.
Oh, you little pet, you. So Pasadena, how about over here? Where are you from? Florida. Fun, DeSantis country. Okay. I'm just kidding. And this little woman wearing original all over your boobies. What does that mean? It's you got your titties and it says original. You're original. Oh, Disney. Where are you two from? Northern California. Pot country where they grow all the weed. Okay, what sign proof this is? I mentioned weed and the drug addicts are like, shh. How about look at these gentlemen, where are you from?
Seattle.
Seattle! There you go, right here. Oh, Seattle. Anybody from Ohio?
Originally.
Really? Oh, thank God.
Finally.
Finally! I've been here for 2.5 weeks. I've asked about Ohio. Nobody's from Ohio. They all fucking moved. Where in Ohio?
Northeast Cleveland.
Northeast, you know where I'm from? Mount Vernon, Ohio. You heard of it? Oh, as a little boy, I just dreamed that one day I was going to be rich and famous. I did. There was this mansion in Mount Vernon. Every single day I just told a true story. I would go sit in front of this mansion and I pretended that I lived there. I did. I sat on the front porch, I waited for the cars going by. I point to the pansies. People in Mount Vernon, God, I was nuts. I was pretty. I was witty. I was pretty and witty. And I was confused. I was so confused. 5 years old, my mother got sick and they put her in a Catholic hospital. Right? I had to learn how to read and write with the nuns. Swear to God. Every afternoon at 4 p.m. I had to take naps with the Mother Superior. I spent my formative years sleeping with nuns. Kind of makes you wonder what it does to a young man's psyche later in life. 11 years old, I was stricken with peritonitis. For an entire year, my mother put my bed in the dining room right next to the kitchen. Every time I looked up, there was my mother with a great big tray full of food. All I did for an entire year was eat. I ate and ate. I weighed 260 pounds. Yeah. Oh yeah. The doctor said, Miss Lynde, we're going to have to do something about Paul's weight. I mean, please. I was pretty. I was witty. I was pretty and witty. And I was fat. Oh, I was so And I was miserable. My father was the sheriff of Mount Vernon, Ohio. One day he came home and announced at the dinner table that he was giving up being the sheriff. And it was told all that he was going to become a butcher. A butcher. Do you know how embarrassing that was? I told all the kids at school my father was a cattle surgeon. Every single day after school, I had to pluck chickens. Visualize this, would you please? 13 years old, 260 pounds, covered in feathers, smelling like chicken. Okay, there's some perverts in Tijuana. Okay, good one for that. But I was pretty. I was pretty. I was pretty. And pretty. And I was I found out being a fat kid, I discovered acting in high school. And being fat, I got good parts. I played the fat part in uncles, the fat part in grandfathers, the fat part in drums. I was fat part fabulous. Take a look. Here's my high school graduation picture. Look at that. Isn't that cute? Anyway, finished high school and went off to Northwestern University. Anybody know Northwestern in Chicago? Right here. So you know about the incredible drama department. You know who was in my drama class at Northwestern? Charlotte Gray, Patricia Neal, Cloris Leachman, and are you ready for this? In my drama class, Charlton Heston. Oh God, we miss you, Chucky. There was a picture of all of us from Northwestern. Is it up there? No. Did we show it? Oh, well, there was a picture of Northwestern. It's not up there, but it was. And another show that was there, Charlotte Ray and all of us. Anyway, I knew I was either going to be an actor, a monk, a lunatic, or a big fat movie star. Yes, I was pretty. I was pretty. I was pretty and pretty. And I was pretty. At Northwestern University, they have this show called The Walking Show. The Walking Show is a big variety show that showcases top actors. I was cast in the lead role of The Walking Show. At the very same time, the fabulous Kay Ballard was a big star in the company, and she was in downtown Chicago. I decided to go to the theater where she was at and stand by the backstage door and invite her to my show. I went there, stood by the door. Kay Ballard came out and I introduced myself as the gate name, Miss Ballard. My name's Lynde, and I'm starring in the Wambley variety show at Northwestern. And I thought maybe you might come. Well, guess what? She did. And she loved it. And she went back to New York City and told everybody how fabulous I was. And I was graduating soon. So I knew my arrival was going to set New York City on fire. Oh, God. My arrival caused apathy to break out all over New York City. I had no jobs. I had no prospects. I was a 260-pound starving artist. Oh, God. It was terrible. But I lived in this tenement in an area called Hell's Kitchen. 1952. You know Hell's Kitchen? You know what I'm talking about? You still don't know who the hell I am. But it's okay. Hell's Kitchen, 1952. My roommates were Emma Jean Coca, Wally Potts. Are you ready for this one? Marlon Brando. We were all roommates. And guess what? We were all broke in 1952. We didn't have a penny to our name. I was desperate. Fat boy, I stole food. One night, I went down to the communal fridge. I opened up the door. I looked inside, and there was a note. It said, "All in. One of these dishes is poisoned. Take your chances." Well, you know what happens. I found out that I could give blood
as standard equipment.
Oh, because the sheep are wising up.
Paul, can anything bring tears to a monkey's eyes?
Yes, finding out that Tarzan swings both ways. All right, Peter, enough. You know what I need? I need a drink.
Hey.
What?
You promised.
I just had a little sip.
Hello.
I just had a little sip. A Don Julio. Don't criticize me. I just want to try this stuff's really good. This is, raise your voices, people. Raise your voices. This is to us a fabulous show, and for her to finally remember who the hell I am. Cheers! Here we go.
That's a lot of tequila.
It is, and that's looking better already, lady. It really is. I know, which one am I talking about? No, that's lovely. Oh, I'm getting another. Shit, this is good. Yeah, I usually have scotch, but I decided since we're in Mexico, I would go for what's your name, dear?
Larissa.
Hi, Larissa. How are you? I'm Paul Lynde. Let me ask you something, Larissa. Have you ever written poetry?
Not anything you want to read.
That's okay, but you have written poetry.
Oh, no, I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've all written poetry at some point in our lives. Everybody here written poetry? Everybody here? Pasadena, I'm sure you read the Rose Bowl song at some point. Tonight, I'm going to introduce you to someone who not only writes it, but recites it. Fabulous poetry. Are you ready? That person is me. These are actual poems I wrote in that little house kitchen tenement in 1952. And I'm going to read a couple of these poems for you. Now, let me tell you something. What's your name again? Larissa. You know what? I'm drinking poetry. Larissa, I found out that you don't need a heart and soul to write poetry. All you need is a pen and paper. I was the Walt Whitman of House Kitchen. So, I'd like to read a couple of the poems I wrote for your pleasure, I hope. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now, I often go to prisons for some of my material. And this first poem is typical in that day, that special day in a convict's life. I call it Going Home. So long, Warden. Don't forget to write. Gee, I feel giddy and getty, just like a groom on his wedding day. Pumpkin pie, shucks, I just want to cry. You want to know why? I'm going home today. Buck up, Bob. What do you care? There's lots worse things than getting the chair. Sure, I'll be in bars, but not behind them. God, I feel so good. I could just kill somebody. You want to know why? You want to know why? I'm saying you want to know why. Today. That's it. That's pretty anticlimactic, don't you think? Okay. Okay, let me find another one. Oh! I wrote this next poem for a dear old friend of mine who was in the hospital at the time. It's probably going to mean a hell of a lot more to me than it does to any of you because they told me that she passed away while reading this poem. It's called Cheer Up. There are roses in bloom in my hospital room. There's a bird in my window. Singing its song. Cheer up, sob, my pretty roses, I feel no pain. While fishing in Maine, I was struck by a train. The doctor said, I'm fit as a fiddle, and we all know they lie just a little. Cheer up! Cheer up! You haven't got long. And that was it. I don't particularly like poetry. I'd rather be hook and rubs. Okay, one more. Okay, this one is very special. I'm going to share it with you because I'm going to let you know while in college, I majored in floral arrangement.
No shit. Kelsey Breeze.
I will. Now, working with flowers gave me the idea for this next poem. I call it Trouble in the Tulip Bed. I don't know what to say. A tulip talked to me today. I was trimming the hedge quite near the mountain ledge, when lo and behold, my blood ran cold. Yes, a tulip screamed at me today. It was my favorite, the one I call Blanche. She puckered up her petals and she screamed, "Oh, Blanche!" Yes, a tulip saved my life today. Now you may not think this quite so much, but you know, most tulips speak Dutch. Peter, I am working.
All right, Paul.
I'm working, okay?
Jesus, listen.
Okay, Peter.
According to the song classic, things aren't as bad as they seem to be if you do what?
Oh, put a bag over her head.
Visualize this, you're in Mexico. You see a group of young people blindfolded beating on something. What?
Oh, a tourist. I found out that I could write poetry, that I could also write comedy sketches. And around that time, 1953, and it was close to the 60s, I started doing comedy. And I was doing these stand-up bits, and I was in this club one night. It was called the 357 Club down in Greenwich. I'm doing my act, and in walks this producer named Lynde. He was producing this show called New Faces of 1952, and he was looking for a new face. There it is, right there. Eartha Kitt was in it, Alice Ghostley was in it, Robert Clary was in it. None of us had been discovered. We were all total unknowns. And they decided to make it into this god-awful piece of shit movie. But I was pounding the pavement. I was going to audition after audition. And all of a sudden, it happened. My big break. Bye-bye birding on Broadway. Yes, I was cast as a strict disciplinarian father that's married to a woman, father of a teenage girl. Oh, I never thought that typecasted. What the writers and producers realized, there was a song in the show that they said is perfect for my character, Harry McAfee. So they gave me the song, Tool for Harry McAfee, and when we opened up on Broadway, I brought the house out every single night. Kids, I don't know what's wrong with you. Kids, you understand me. Kids, they're just What's the matter? don't fight, you get laid. Everyone. You get free booze. Now, I didn't get nominated for a Tony Award, but I got to say my song on the Tonys. And the next thing they're screaming, we're gonna make a movie. We're gonna make a movie. Hooray, we're gonna make a movie. First thing they did, they fired everybody. Howard Champion, the director, gone. Cheetah Rivera, gone. The writers, okay, there were two of them. The only people left were me and Dick Van Dyke. Oh God, how I love Dick.
Obvious.
Van Dyke. Oh my God, every night after filming, Dick and I would go out and we'd drink and drink and drink. Oh God, we drank so much if we were cremated, it would have taken 3 days to put out the fire. But yes, I had my song. Yes, I was. I was going to steal the movie exactly how I stole the Broadway show. And I remember walking on that soundstage the very first day. And they introduced me to her. Margaret. Cute, wasn't she? I think I'm the only person on the crew of the cast that didn't want to fuck her. You know what they did? They went and changed the movie and rewrote it and centered it all around her. Instead of bye bye Margaret, they should have called it hello and Margaret. Do you know why they did it? For the demographics. Yes, they did. Every time they blow that little wind machine up her, we'll see little boys in cornfields in middle America would be sitting there going, but guess who liked my song? Those kids. Sure, I got pushed out of the frame every time they turned that little bitch of wind machine on. But Hollywood noticed I was officially a star. Kids, they're just possible. Kids, with their off the world, and rock and roll. Why do they dance like we did? What's wrong with Saturday? What's the matter with kids? So, Tinseltown. First thing I did when I got to Hollywood, I got myself a Jewish agent named Marty. Hey Paul, this is Marty. Listen, we got a film for you. It's a Disney film. It's called Son of Flubber. Disney? Son of Flubber? Oh, God. Paul, listen, it's Marty. The Doors thank you, Paul. They want you for this film. It's called For Those Who Think Young. You play the part of Uncle Sid. It's a small part. One scene. Small part. One scene. Uncle Sid. One scene. Oh, God. The party line, people. Paul, it's Marty again. Listen, the Doors State people called. They went for another one. It's called Send Me No Flowers. You play the part of a funeral director. You starring with Tony Randall and Rock Hudson. Our funeral director. One scene, small part. One scene, a funeral director. Why? Because I like people. Oh, God. Paul, this morning we got a big one for you. It's a summer film. It's an event film. Picture this. Frankie Avalon. Annette Funicello. The beach. A sea epic. A sea epic. Beach blanket bingo. Oh, God. Paul, listen. Doors State, they're hot for you. They want you for another one. It's called The Glass Bottom Boat. And Paul, they're going to spend a fortune. A fortune on your wardrobe. A fortune on my wardrobe. I did drag. Yeah. I mean, that pretty much. I could have done those good parts. I really could have. I mean, oh God, what can I say? I mean, I did films. I mean, if you saw, I did Joan Rivers. I played a gynecologist. Remember my big line was Nurse Tug. There's sperm on my desk again. Awful movies, but I could have done the good parts. I auditioned for some of the biggest roles in films in the 60s and 70s. I just didn't get them. I did. Did you know? I role, the Ryan O'Neal role in Love Story. Don't laugh. I did. I pictured this. The soundstage at 20th Century Fox. My big screen test, as you know, you had to take a screen test for the films. The director says, Paul, you and Ally McGraw, oh, you're gonna break America's hearts. You're gonna make them cry. We're on the soundstage, the director says, cameras are rolling. The death scene, action! I'm down on my knees. I'm looking at Ally McGraw, her little body riddled with leukemia. I take her frail little hand in mine and I look her in the eye and I say, love means never having to say you're sorry. Now you get it. I read for the Dustin Hoffman role in The Graduate. Columbia Pictures. Soundstage, the director says, Paul, you and Anne Bancroft are going to make cinema history. The chemistry between the two of you is just take everything you learned at Northwestern, put it into this role. Cameras are rolling, the director says, action! The seduction theme. Mr. Robinson, you invite me to your home. You give me booze. Miss Robinson, are you trying to seduce me?
Did you get it?
I didn't get it. I auditioned for Deliverance. I did. We're on the Warner Brothers Ranch back lot where they have the fake river and everything. The director says, Paul, you've got this. Take everything you learned at the Lee Strasberg School of Method Acting. Pour it into this. You've got it. Camera's rolling. The director yells, the pig scene. Action! Hey, boy. I'm gonna make you squeal like a pig.
Did you get it?
No, I didn't get it. I auditioned for the Robert De Niro role in Taxi Driver. Yes. You talking to me? You talking to me? I don't see anybody else here you're talking to. I auditioned for Jaws. I think we need a bigger boat. Didn't get it. I even tried voiceovers. My fabulous voice. I auditioned for the role of Satan in The Exorcist. We're in the sound booth. The director says, Paul, this is you. You got this. You are Satan. Audio tape is rolling. Action! Your mother sucks cocks in hell.
Let me guess.
No, I didn't get it. I finally auditioned for the role of Darth Vader in 1979. Luke. I'm your dad.
Did you get it?
No, I didn't get it. But I could have done the good roles. I could have done the big roles. I really could have. I could have played like The Rock or George Clooney. They just wouldn't let me. But tonight, this evening, here in freaking Mexico, my dream is going to come true. I'm finally going to have that real audition to play the romantic lead in a movie, and we're going to recreate the final scene from the movie Titanic. You know what I'm talking about, huh? You know the end scene where Kate Winslet and Leo are hanging onto a door? He's frozen to death, his fingers break off, and he floats the hell away. That scene. We're going to do that, but you're going to help me. And I need a lovely lady in the audience that's going to play Kate Winslet, and it's going to be Melissa. You are playing Kate Winslet. Get up here. Come on, Marissa. Come on. Because Marissa, come on over here. You can do this. Take a swig of wine. Take a swig of wine. Marissa, take a swig. Come on up, my darling. You got it? All right. You come over here. You come over here. Let me see over here. Let me see. I need one other person to run my cue cards. I need a male. This guy looks like deer in the headlights. You're sitting. Okay. What's your name? Hi, Mike. Come on up here. I didn't get everything you're gonna help you. The handsome Gary's gonna help you. There you go. Crazy. Michael, listen, here we go. Stay right there, we got props. Hold on. Oh, we got props. Okay, ready? I'm not gonna mess your hair up. Okay, just a minute, go ahead. Very good, here we go. And these are the cue cards, Mike. You hold them up. I'm gonna place you right here, okay? Okay, I want you to look at this. My lines are in black, yours are in blue, okay? So you know what happens in the scene, right? You know how the movie ends? How?
It's not good.
Well, yeah, fucking close. Okay, alright, have you ever done acting before?
Oh, can you tell?
Yes, I can. You're fabulous, just don't upstage me. Gary, can I have some Titanic music? And do you feel the emotion? It's so fabulous lighting like we're in the water. Okay, now you're floating. This is the door. You're floating on the door, Mike. Hold those cue cards. Okay, remember, I'm black, you're blue. Are we ready? The Coleman Titanic screen test. Action! Take a deep breath and hold it. Before we go into the water and the ship will suck us down. Kick for the surface and keep kicking. Trust me, Rose.
I trust you.
The boats will come back for us, Rose. Hold on just a little longer.
I've been talking for you, Jack.
Okay, great. The boats will come. Okay, thanks, Rose. Look at the next one. It's upside down. It's fine. Jesus Christ.
I love you, Jack.
I love you too, Rose. Yeah, your titties are hard. I can tell you're gonna get out of this, Rose. You're gonna go on and you're gonna make babies and you're gonna watch them grow. And my turn to fucking there you go, upside down. And you're gonna die an old lady warm in your bed. Do you understand me, Rose?
Do you like mine?
It's because you got a nice bird up your ass. The water's cold, Rose. Listen to me. Promise me that you will survive. I can see you wonder. Promise me that you'll never give up, no matter what happens, no matter how old. Promise me now, and never let go. You promise? Never let go.
I promise. I'll never let go, Jack. I'll never let go.
Goodbye, Rose. Oh. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Oh. Right now, just throw the shit down there. Come on down here. This wonderful gentleman's going to help you. There you go. Be careful. There you go. Jesus Christ. Clusterfuck if I ever saw it. Oh, hush. So I gave up on the movies. I did. I decided that I found out that I was better in primetime TV. Me! Yeah, me, the little boy who always dreamed of being rich and famous. I was one of the biggest stars on network television in the 70s. In 1976, I was the #1 personality. I was on primetime TV 200 hours. I was one of the first people on the cover of People magazine right there. Look at that. He's #1 banana, 1976. I was playing mothers. I was playing fathers. They called me a mother. I love this shit.
Easy with the tequila.
I know. I was playing fathers, doctors, lawyers, and then one show magically changed everything.
Actually, I think you're going to find this very amusing.
This show was incredible. What an incredible cast. Take a look at the cast. Group picture. Look at all of us. Isn't that great? You know, I'm still trying to figure out what made that show so fabulous. You know what I figured it was? It was this. Samantha would be in the kitchen whipping up a souffle, having up in the bedroom with 3 or 4 fingers, and you'd hear this. Tinkle, tinkle. But let me tell you something. I don't know if any of you know this, but did you know I was not Uncle Arthur when I first did the show? Did you know that? The very first season, I played Samantha's driving instructor. There it was. Yes. People had known. It was one of those hidden episodes, and Elizabeth and I got along so incredibly well that her husband, who was the director and the producer, decided we need to put the two of you together. So they created Uncle Arthur, the practical joker. And I got along with every single person in that cast except for one. There was one person I did not get along with. Bats in the belfry, pigs in a poke. Give me a lesbian before I choke. And they did. Agnes Moorhead. Classy as hell, but what a mean duck.
Please tell what's his name. He's finally pushed me too far.
Oh, please, and darn. You know what happened is when the cameras were rolling, we got along. As soon as the cameras were off, we were at each other's throats. And the writers picked up on that. And they decided to give us fabulous lines. One of my favorite lines ever in the show was, I look her straight in the eye and I go, Endora, every time I think of you as a blood relative, I long for a transfusion.
I will not stand here and be insulted by something that's 90% water.
I'm 90% tequila at this point. Oh, you know what I think? I think I still have some of my powers. I think I still have some of my powers. I want a margarita. Oh shit, it's over here. Watch, we have no budget. Watch this. I will make a Mexican musical director make it disappear. I caught that. Okay, any couples here that have been together for a really long time? Really long time? About there? How long have you two been together? 31 years. How over here? 22 and 31. You know we're going to do a double one tonight. Yeah, we're going to do double. I'm going to do a double, a special, a foursome, a quadruple. Okay, what's your name?
Luke.
And?
Calvin.
Luke and Calvin.
Rudy.
Rudy.
Mark.
Mark. If you just said 2D, I would have done Okay, I want the 2 of you, the 4 of you to hold hands. The audience is going to get on this. Gary, I need some incantation music. Seriously, I need some special effects music for this incredible couple. Okay, 3, 2. Okay, audience, I want you all to concentrate on your energy in these 4, and I want you to think hard. Okay, maybe not think hard. Think. Are you ready? Alabama.
Okay, Paul, listen carefully. The baby is in the mother's womb.
Right?
Can that baby ever see light?
Yes, but only in ballet class.
What do you call a man that gives you diamonds and pearls?
No, I call him darling. All right, Peter, you know what? We're just going to play the Hollywood Squares. Let's just play the Hollywood Squares. It's the Hollywood Squares, starring Charlie Weaver, Abby Dalton, Wally Cox, Ned Kurt Travis, Jackie Valentine, Rose Marie, Greg Fox, and the Center Square, all in. And now your host, master of Hollywood Squares, Peter Marshall. Well, thank you very much and welcome to the show. Hello, stars. Hey, Peter, how are you?
Paul,
Yeah.
are we disturbing your rest?
I'm just having the best old time here. Jesus Christ.
We'll save that until you meet our contestants. Okay, no?
Yeah.
Now, on my left is Jan, a homemaker from Scranton, Pennsylvania, with 6 children, 5 girls and a boy.
He's the only boy. Kid, you're going to need a drink.
And on my right is David, a bartender from New Orleans. Not married. Never married. Oh, a confirmed bachelor. Oh, you're having too much fun to settle down.
Oh, please. Peter, contestant number 2 is a damn fruit loop. Confirmed bachelor, my ass. Please. Oh, God. Can I ask you all something? Could someone please tell me what the hell Abby Dalton has ever done? Nothing. Nothing. I don't get it. Why am I bitching and complaining? This is the best job I've ever had.
Okay, Paul, listen carefully. It is the most abused and neglected part of your body. What is it?
Mine may be abused, Peter, but it's certainly not neglected. 13 years of sitting in this square. 13 years of looking up at Rose Marie's snatch. And let me tell you a little secret. She's got a bow on. You all want stories? I'll give you some stories. We used to do the storybook squares. You remember the storybook squares? You know, they would dress us up as storybook characters and parade us around. Well, this one week they dressed me up as the Wicked Witch. The Wicked Witch. Yes, do you know what the producers did? In front of all of America, 40 million people, they stuck 2 words right here. Evil Queen.
During the War of 1812, Captain Oliver Perry made this famous statement. We have met the enemy and what?
Oh, they're cute. Speaking of cute, I was a prima donna. We were doing the show, the ratings were up, my salary stayed the same. So I wanted a raise, they wouldn't give it to me, so I left the show. Next thing I know, the producers called. I was back on the show and my salary went up. And I'll never forget my first day back. We're back on the set and we're in Las Vegas doing the show. And I walk out onto the soundstage to look at the giant square, and there was this little dyke production assistant standing on the stage, and she says, excuse me, Mr. Lynde? I go, yes. There seems to be a problem. And I go, and? Well, it seems you have to share your dressing room with D. Martin's Dingling sisters. At the same time? No, they have it in the morning, and you have it in the evening. I said to her, I want to see this dressing room. So she walks me down the hallway. We get to the door, I open it up, I walk inside, I look around, and I take a big whiff. I said, this dressing room smells like pussy. I think. I got my own dressing room. Oh my God, it was a terrible night. We were doing the show and nobody was getting laughs. Not a single person. Charlie Weaver, Jumper, nobody was getting laughs. I was getting some of my best damn lines. Oh, you're driving down the freeway at 90 miles an hour and your brakes fail. What's the first thing you should should do? I said, honk if you love Jesus. Paul, why do motorcycle men wear leather? I said, because chiffon wrinkles. Not allowed. Not a single. Paul, why do butchers beat their meat? Loneliness. Not allowed. Come to find out, the audience bookers had booked an entire damn studio full of deaf people. Deaf people! They didn't know what the hell we were doing. Just a bunch of whapping, flapping, and twisting hands. It was terrible. Oh, God, I was so drunk when I left the studio that night. Another true story. Left beautiful downtown Burbank, headed over Laurel Canyon, made a right on the Sunset Boulevard, crossed Doheny into Beverly Hills. I look up in my rearview mirror and I see the red lights of a motorcycle cop. I'm thinking to myself, oh shit. I watch him get off his motorcycle with his pad and paper. Okay, it was a West Hollywood cop. With a gimp. He walked, before he could get to my window, I rolled my window down. I looked him in the eye and said, officer, I'd like a double cheeseburger, an order of fries, and a chocolate chip. He was a fan of the show, and I got a motorcycle escort back to my house drunk as hell. You just gotta love it. You just gotta love Hollywood. I mean, where else can you sleep till noon, drink Bloody Marys by the pool until 1, watch porn until 4 in the afternoon, get to the studio at 6, give America their laughs, and you're back in the bar at 10 o'clock. You gotta love it. I mean, the audience loved me, my fans loved me, the crew loved me, even Peter loved me.
Paul, if you wanted to know if a plastic surgeon is really qualified, who should you check with?
Oh, Joe Rivers. Let me think here. I think it's the AMA. No, wait a minute, it's the Board of Plastic Surgeons. No, it's not the Board of Plastic Surgeons, it's the AMA. There's no Board of Plastic Surgeons. I checked once out of curiosity, Peter.
The American Medical Association, there is no Board of Plastic Surgeons, says Paul. Okay, David, do you agree or disagree? David, what's your answer? You'll go with Paul and the AMA? No, the answer is the National Board of Plastic Surgeons. I'm sorry, David. Certainly gets the square.
Oh, really? Is it really that? Oh, I'm sorry. Sometimes I bluff, David.
Hey, we're going to be right back with more right here on the Hollywood Square.
So we win. He even gets a big props. But, I screwed up his whole vacation here in Hollywood. But look at wifey Pooh over there. She loves me. And look at that outfit. That dress. Lady, who shot the couch?
Okay, here we go. What's the difference between a cow poke and a cow hand?
One's a misdemeanor and the other's a felony. You know, women would watch the show and they would see the outfits that I'm wearing and they go on Spiegel catalog and they try to buy the same outfits I'm wearing for their husbands in the beat south. Oh, could you imagine a pig farmer in Arkansas wearing this? What a tragedy. I'll tell you something, I'm always on the lookout for a good talk. I am. I'll be driving down the street and I'll see me a good-looking top and I'll pull over and I just gotta have it. Love me a good top. I don't want anything fruity or flashy. I want me a top that screams groovy.
All right, here we go. Diamonds should not be kept with your family jewels. Why?
Because they're cold.
True or false? Research indicates that Columbus liked to wear bloomers, long stockings.
Oh, well, it's hard to keep a crew for 6 months, Peter. You know, there were times we would in Vegas. we would shoot 5 episodes of The Squares, and then as soon as we were done, we had to go shoot a Dean Martin roast. You know what kind of day that is? A long day. But I love Dean because he had the best booze in craft services. And this one night, we'd done the 5 shows, done the Dean Martin roast, and the whole group of us got on a plane in Vegas to head back to Burbank. It was like Dean Martin, Foster Brooks, Tony Field, Joe Murphy, all of us. We were exhausted. I was completely drunk. And on the plane, another true story, on the plane was this woman with this obnoxious little girl, 6-year-old girl, running up and down the aisle before the plane even took off. Captain comes down with the cockpit, announces that we're taking off. This little girl gets into the seat next to her mother straps her in. We take off. As soon as we hit the altitude and the seatbelt light goes off, this little bitch gets out of the seat. Starts running up and down the aisle. She does. She goes up to Dean Martin. Hi, how are you? Foster Brooks. Hi, how are you? Joe Murphy. Hi, how are you? I was on my 12th scotch. All of a sudden, I feel this frail, tiny little hand. Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you? Little girl.
Yes?
Where's your mother?
Over there?
Come with me. Took her by the hand, walked over to where her mother was sitting, tapped the mother on the shoulder, and I said, excuse me, miss.
Yes?
This your little girl? She goes, yes. I said, oh, if you don't take her, put her in that seat and strap her down next to you, I'm gonna fuck her up. You think I would have realized what this shit did to me after all these years? I always wanted to be rich and famous. I wanted it all. This little square gave it to me. It gave me the house in Beverly Hills. It gave me enough money to buy the most expensive clothes. It gave me enough money to have an Olympic-sized pool and to fill it with the most expensive booze money could buy. You think I would have been happy?
Nathan Hale. You remember Nathan Hale? He was one of the heroes of the American Revolution. He was hung. Why?
Heredity. Oh, God.
According to Masters and Johnson, what do women do immediately after having sex?
Oh, they wake up.
Hey, Paul, the state flag of Alabama is all white with one very distinctive feature. What is it?
Oh, eyeballs.
Okay, Paul, this is for the championship, not for Cabaret.
Okay.
In what famous book will you read about a talking ass who wonders why it's being beaten?
Oh, I read it. It's called The Joy of Sex. There you have it, folks, the Hollywood Square. All right, Peter, because it's like a real game show, we have to have party gifts for some members of the audience. What have we got?
Well, we've got Rice Rummy, the San Francisco tree.
Rice Rummy, the San Francisco tree. When we're in Mexico, so it's Spanish rice. Mike, you can take this now. Said you got something here while you're reading. Where are they? What else have we got, Peter?
All right, STP, gastric.
STP gastric. You know what? We have one bottle, but I'm going to give you 2 bottles, one for each of the couples. This is a high octane. It's a tutti frutti. I'm going to give you yours. You might pack that about to 2 fruity. There they are. High octane, boys. I'm telling you to love it. What else have we got, Peter?
And from Dicker and Dicker of Beverly Hills, the latest in for creations.
You picked on me enough.
I know, Melissa. You are You have now become a member of the Lynde Pelt of the Month Club. Every single month, we're going to send you another piece of the fur, and about a year and a half, you're going to have a collar. But until then, we're going to give you some crazy glue, and you can use it as a merkin. You know what a merkin is? Look it up. This is actually the Diana Ross test model right here. Oh, I know, I'm going straight to hell. Here you go. If you take this home and think you got this, you got your Polish. Oh my God. You know how to pin time. Finally, here you are. I voted for Pasadena. She's looking up Merkin. It's like a wig for your pussy. It really. Just glue it on there, you know. Is it? Are you looking it up? It's just. Jeez. Oh, let me see your butt. Look at this. There's all kinds of Merkin. And you have to buy your Ross Merkin. It's a collector's item. You're going to glue that on your pussy and say, ain't no mountain high enough. Coming up next, if you want to have a good time, is Big M and her fabulous musical show. They're playing here right after us. I heard them rehearsing this afternoon before I came out of my crib. And amazing. Oh my God, it's been a really wonderful time here. This is our final 2 days here in Puerto Vallarta, and we head back to the States. I'm telling you, hold on for a second. Peter, are you still here?
I sure am. It was really good to see you again. Hi, Uncle Paul.
Yeah?
Take care of yourself.
You take care of yourself. I am what I am. I was my own special creation. Come, into the hook, or the ovate. It was my world that I wanted to have a little pride in. My world that I didn't think I had to hide in. Folks, now that my story's been told here tonight and the song's been sung, I can tell you the truth. I was a flaming queen. Yes, America laughed with me, not at me. I was typed into 20, 30, 40, 50 million homes every week, and America laughed. I had so time to figure out how I was able to be such a bitch and get so goddamn famous. But you know what? I like to think, at the end of the day, I made the world a safer place for sissies. Yeah. So, for all those folks out there that still wish they could be rich and famous, for all those little girls who'd rather have a bag of golf clubs instead of a Barbie, and all those little boys who'd rather play Scarlet O'Hara than Rhett Butler, I say, save the sissies. There's a lot of little Pauline sprouting up all over the world, and all they need is just a little bit of acid for fertilizer to flourish. Those little pansies, they're mine. Peter Marshall used to say, all in to win the game. If you want to know how to win the game, you gotta have fun. I learned that a little late in life. He also said, you gotta be good to people. I learned that a little late in life too. And most of all, you've got to be yourself. This wasn't an act. This was me. Kids, I know what's wrong with these kids. Kids, noisy, crazy, sluggy, lazy, lovers. War on the subject, give it up for some amazing man on the sound booth. Cheers, who puts the pictures up, they're all the sound booth. And a big thank you to the incredible master of the Hollywood Square, Peter Marshall, who came on board and did all the voiceovers for the show here tonight. We love to be here. Over here, take a look at these three amazing musicians right there on the bass. He's one of the top studio musicians here in Mexico, and he's playing with me tonight, and he's playing with since we got here. Mr. Danny Lopez. So Danny, when he was younger, got married, had a baby. Little baby was born. Little baby picked up all kinds of instruments. His baby learned how to play the drums. And there he is, right behind us. Danny, you! That's that on the drums. Now you know, there's all kinds of things you can find on the Malecon at 3 in the morning. No. He's like my brother from another mother. I love him more than life himself. He's one of the top musical directors in California, as well as one of the top music vocal teachers in all of America. The handsome, the stunning, Mr. Daniel Gary Buzz. Yeah. There you go.